Hey everybody, welcome to Chicago's Vroom Show. This is the recap of the Spanish Grand Prix. Had a little bit of excitement. Honestly, some of the finishes in the post-race blew my mind. I didn't expect some of the things that happened, and somebody might have not deservedly won driver of the day, but we'll go into that. Here to join me is the two Daves. So we are officially 3D. But we've got two that actually know the sport, and I'm just the host here. That's why I'm doing my British accent here. But we've got German Dave and Canadian Dave. How are you guys?
So you're saying the Brits don't know what they're talking about? They're just good at sounding good.
I did not say that.
100%. I'm great. How are you guys?
Not bad, not bad. I mean, it's crazy. If you guys have been following, you know, I've just got back. My wife just got back. There's family, some family left. There's still family here. This is my vacation down here in my little hole in the basement to get away from it all. And I'm excited to watch. I already watched it, but I'm excited to talk the F1. This is my first time. You guys inaugurated the segment without me, so I'm happy to join in. And,
I mean, you're in the Arctic Circle, so what could we do? You're busy fighting polar bears.
Yeah, I know, right? So it is what it is. But
he's scouting the new Canadian Grand Prix track.
Yeah,
actually, no joke.
No
joke. The episode we did was just 15 minutes because it was literally one of the most boring races ever. It was the Monaco GP, so we had
that's true.
Which had like 2 overtakes the whole race.
But cool little, I guess, racing automotive connection there to where I was staying, Resolute Bay. It's got a polar ice shelf project thing going up there. Got a big government thing going on, and just in behind, I guess, their buildings, they had an old tire testing track for Nokia and I think Toyo, sorry. Who was the third one? Anyways, there's 3 different tire companies that went up there to basically do a bunch of donuts on the Arctic Ocean ice to test their winter tires. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, they do that and also on salt flats as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just for different conditions. They're not doing winter tires on the salt flats.
Yeah, you know, there's that one track. There's that track in the Alpine where people just bring all their Lamborghinis and their supercars on.
The Nordschleife?
Is that it? It's something. No. It's like a. I think it's in Italy. It's like in northwest Italy, in the Alps. But
I saw it once in the south of France. I went to the south of France to the Côte d'Azur once to vacation, and I saw them there. I don't know if it
could be the same
leads them towards Italy as well. But they were in Cannes and Monaco and in Nice, I believe. And yeah, that is basically like only a couple of kilometers away from the Italian border. So they may also.
It's like old school racing heaven, just in that corner of the world, right there.
They were driving these supercars in the snow, and like some of the cars had their bumpers removed, both front and rear bumpers removed, because don't want to damage that because that's probably worth 30,000 euros. But
and who needs downforce?
Yeah, who needs downforce? You're trying to get as much grip as possible in the snow. But speaking of downforce, Mercedes with the downforce adjustment, I think they are the surprise of the weekend.
They're the pleasant surprise overall. They did well. You know, coming kind of from that 5th spot position and kind of saying, yeah, we're here. We can sit in 2nd, 3rd place. You know, fight it out a little bit. Good showing. Happy for.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but I'm kind of happy for Hamilton for once to see him do well after so long.
I am happy, and it's so soothing for my soul as a Hamilton fan that he finally did something with the car. And did you guys hear the conspiracies and the stuff about the email that said that Mercedes as a team is sabotaging his car?
Yes, I actually did want to get into that a little bit because judging by the results today, did they unsabotage the car?
Look, it's very conspiracy and tinfoil hatty, but it's crazy how after those email leaked and how Toto Wolff went completely off against the media, that poor Lewis Hamilton immediately started performing.
All right, well, I'll bring up that article first. We'll get through the lineup, the final results. I haven't heard of any sort of penalties coming out, any rumors. So as it stands, this should be official. Max Verstappen, of course, sneaking it out. Only 2.2 seconds ahead, so not pure domination, with Lando Norris And I think this is going to be a theme as well. I feel, did Lando Norris give this one up? Was it his to lose?
That's 2 straight Grand Prix. That's
my
2
That
straight.
Lando's to lose. That is the theme. Lando's to lose.
Yep. My
But we'll
theory
get into
is
it.
McLaren lost it for him, but we'll go deeper into it.
Yes, we will go deeper. So we got the Hammer in third, 17.8 seconds back. George Russell, just a lap. He's lucky that there was only 66 laps today, because if there were 67, Charles Leclerc was going to take that spot from him. Carlos in behind that with Piastri, Perez, Gasly, Ocon rounding up the top 10. So a bit pleasant of a result for Renault Alpine this weekend as well. And the losers: Hulkenberg, Alonso, Zhou Guanyu, Lance Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Kevin Magnussen, Alexander Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Logan Sargent. So some very unhappy V-Carb fans there, and everyone else is kind of just being crap, as they usually are, unfortunately. With
Sargent even going to have a job after this?
No, he's not.
No,
You don't even have to finish that sentence. He's not.
The Mercedes junior driver Kimi Antonelli is already eligible for an F1 drive, because the FIA, ironically, changed the super license rule that a 17-year-old can already start in an F1, and he already accumulated his points that are needed in order to be eligible for an F1 drive. And some reports or rumors right now are saying that he will be already in the Williams around the Silverstone GP, but I don't know, of course, if that will happen. But technically, he's eligible, and I don't think that he will do much worse than Sargent, even as a 17-year-old.
Yeah, but kind of going back to the results, essentially. So, like, for example, this race, outside of maybe Lando and Verstappen swapping spots, not really much of a difference between qualifying and in the actual. I mean,
it was pretty tight, and we've seen that already this year. Last match, it was pretty much dead on for the top 10. So here, not much of a change. Lando Max swapping out. What was the results in qualifying? I don't have that up now. Was it George? No, Hamilton did out qualify.
It was Norris, Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, and behind them the Ferraris. I forgot the order they were in. Then the 2 Alpines, I believe, Perez and Piastri. And Perez got the 3-grid penalty from the last race, which
here's the starting grid.
Which brought, I believe, Alonso on towards P10.
Yeah, you had it. You pretty much had that.
You see?
Yeah, you're good. You got
it. That
guy. So yeah, not much of a mix-up. There was a bit of a strategy call. A lot of tire degradation on this circuit.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So, who should have won this? Let's just start with that. Who should have won this race at the end of the day?
You'd have to say Lando, right? Lando has the faster car.
Yep. I think McLaren or Lando in this case had clearly the faster car. And for me, it was critical that McLaren kept Norris out that much longer after Verstappen came into the pits. Yes, if they came in the lap after, of course, they will still come out behind Verstappen. But he wouldn't be that far behind him and he didn't have to make all those. He was 9 seconds behind Max, I believe, when he came out of the pits after the last pit stop, and the Mercedes were in between him, so he had to overtake those on track, which again lost him some time on the track. I would have brought him in earlier, and I think that was the critical call that lost Norris the race, I believe, because if he came in a lap behind Max and came like maybe 2 to 3 seconds behind Max back to the track, I think he could have overtaken him on pace or on merit.
So to follow up with you there, German Dave. So I've got the numbers. I've got the numbers here. So we've got Lando Norris going into the pit lap 23 at 15:34:21, and Verstappen going about 6 laps earlier at
Yep.
lap 17 15:26. So that to me kind of begs the question: is McLaren pulling a Ferrari here with some poor strategy? Because you would think, right? Because like for example, Lando and Verstappen were close neck and neck between, maybe 1 or 2
Yep.
seconds tops within the entire race. So it's like, why not pull him in at the same time? You would
I
box him in
think
at the same time. He has the
what
faster car.
what they tried, Dash, is Barcelona is a track where they often do this, where you try to get entire when you lost the undercut already to Max Verstappen, you try to go longer on your old tires and get fresher tires and being able to use them up for more laps and to make the time up on track, basically on fresher tires. And that worked the past couple of seasons of Verstappen versus Hamilton. One, I believe in 2020, Hamilton did it to Verstappen and it worked, and in 2021, Verstappen did it to Hamilton, where they basically just went longer on the tires, got fresh new tires, came in 8 to 9 laps after the other guy, and just overtook the opponent on track, basically on fresher tires. And I think McLaren tried this one as well, but the problem is that the Mercedes were in the way, and he lost 2 to 3 seconds behind Hamilton, I believe, until he overtook him, and he lost a second behind Russell. And those seconds may have been the critical seconds.
This is everything you play with, right? When you try to make these calls, because he lost that position. We didn't even talk about that massive lunge into turn one from Russell there to take the lead from both.
It was a hell of a move.
Both Norris and Verstappen were just like they were going tire to tire. We think we're gonna get fireworks, and Norris was like, "I got this, bro."
Yeah.
Well,
and he immediately lost back a couple laps later.
The slipstream that Russell got from the start behind Verstappen. My God, dude, what a start by Russell.
Well, and then you look at it from a strategic point, right? Because you have Hamilton and Russell by each other, so they're able to do some shithousery to keep you from going. It's just, to me, it's like if you went in with Max and you came out with Max, because they both ran the same setup. They started with the soft compound and then they went to the medium compound until the end of the race. So it's you put it with Max, and then, for example, Lando and Max, it's easier to overtake it, right? Because, like, for example, it's an easier situation for them to overtake it. Whereas, like, it would have been a lot more difficult, because here's where I find it ironic, right? So when I'm looking at the pits, the stops here, Verstappen stops first, and then the Mercedes with Lando and Norris both going in, and it's just like you've got a wall of Russell and Hamilton that you have to go through. So
now, did they know? This is the question. How much information do they know? Because Red Bull traditionally are the team that goes out and rides longest, especially on Max's car. He nurses those tires. It was clear today that he did not have the ability to nurse those. And the two guys that came back out on reds at the end and pushed hard with Leclerc and Hamilton. So this is why I question, was it the bad call, or did he just get a little bit unlucky with that call getting stuck? Because we do see Leclerc only 0.4 seconds behind Russell at the end of the day, and Hamilton taking that third position back. Like, remember, Russell was the race leader into turn one. And he got fourth place by a mere 0.4 seconds from Leclerc, right? So that the strategy of going a bit longer can work. The data was clearly there that it could work out for Norris. And Norris even came on the radio and he was asked, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "I'm not defending Russell. I'm chasing Max." He was going for it. That was a team call. That wasn't a pit wall call. That was a team call. And it almost did pay off. He got a little bit unlucky. So, I mean, did he still lose it? Was it still his to lose? Yes, I think it was. And that is why it was on race day. Man, we saw racing today. We should be excited. We were here like going into the
by the way, I'm absolutely happy with this race. This was for me an amazing race, like 8 out of 10. it was a great race, and also the strategy, and I loved everything about it. And the past has shown that you can do the strategy where you go longer on your tires and get the tire advantage basically at the end. And if the Mercedes weren't in the way, I think it could have worked out. I don't think it was a dumb strategy, but that was, I think, in the end, what it's these small margins. And if you're stuck behind the Mercedes for 1 or 2 laps, that already may cost you the race. But the strategy has shown that it worked. I don't think it was a critical error. I just think it's just these small margins that costed him the race.
Yeah,
But I'm not saying it was a critical error or whatever.
I don't think it is, because, like, for example, it's one of those things where you roll the dice. If it works, great, you're a genius.
Yep.
If it doesn't work.
Yep.
I think for me, like, the perspective that and I might be the more naive one out of the bunch here, but you've got the hot racer and you've got the hot car right now. I don't get why you wouldn't try to match it pace for pace, unless McLaren's not confident in their pit crew keeping up with Red Bull's pit crew when they're swapping out the tires, because you would think, right now with Lando having a faster vehicle than Max, you would say, hey, box. If you hear Max Verstappen box, you box in as well. Like, you at least make the attempt, because then you're in at the pit at the same time. It's more so then it's who's going to be essentially more effective out of the pit or moving throughout the course, because it's just, again, you look at it and it's Lando's the last one in it. And I don't disagree with the tire strategy, but when you have Lewis and you have Russell both pit before him, and then they both occupy those positions, it's very difficult for him. And it's right, because, like, for example, the best strategy a Formula One team can have is having both drivers at least one position apart from each other, because then you can pull the shithousery, because you can get through one, but the second one will cut you off, and then the other one will overtake you again.
Well, especially a team like McLaren, where the drivers actually do get along with each other.
Yeah,
it's a perfect team, and we have seen it. This is, in my opinion, McLaren hasn't been in this position for quite a few years now. They have to relearn the strategy.
They haven't been there since 2008.
They have not had to make these decisions. Yeah. Now, we can look at especially the Binotto days with Ferrari and how he failed to make those decisions, battling for that first, second spot. And as Ferrari has always, like, even though they haven't won in like a couple decades now, like, they've still been fighting to win. They still have that knowledge.
They're a perennial second place.
Yeah. Whereas McLaren is, hopefully they're doing what we're doing right now, right? They're coming post race, and they do this. They're all doing this, right? They come post race and they analyze these exact things that we're talking now. And you hope to see by the end of the season that they got it locked down. Like, Max is fighting for his life at that point. And this is the constant evolution that we see happening this season in particular, right? As we get very mature into the rules, the regulations, the teams are locked down. And, like, it's obviously Lando today. It was Hamilton taking a podium final. Like, we just don't know. Ferrari, like, we can say, Ferrari did crap, 5th and 6th place.
I think they've struggled. I think Ferrari struggled after Canada. Something's wrong with their car.
It could be some worn components like that. That's one of the things Ferrari's kind of struggled with, or is their longevity.
Yeah, it's just something happened after Canada, because, like, for example, like, watching qualifying, watching the Canadian Grand Prix as well, where it's just like you see Leclerc, where he was just like, I can't get any power. There's no power in it.
Well, that was an actual physical issue.
No, it is, but, like, it just kind of makes you wonder whether or not it's the longevity of these vehicles, because, like, for example, it just didn't seem like Ferrari had the oomph.
No, but this is a season, though, right? This is the ups and downs. Like, we know Max is on his last engine right now. So he's taking a 10 grid penalty next time his engine goes. So, like, Red Bull's got their issues. This is the season playing out.
Yeah. The problem I think that Ferrari has right now, and it was mentioned on other journalistic podcasts as well, Ferrari brought lots of upgrades at the start of the season, in the first, like, 5 to 6 races, where they changed the floor. They already was it Miami where they changed the whole side pod outlet and everything. They brought a floor update already. They brought a new front wing and everything.
All the top teams have, though.
Yeah, but the Mercedes for Red Bull haven't brought a big update yet. Mercedes brought their biggest update now for this race. The question that lots of people are asking themselves is if Ferrari already shot their ammunition and don't have any left,
It's
or if
possible.
they have still developed because of the cost cap. The cost cap is the problem, and not them being unable to develop a car, in my opinion, because they technically they have the resources. But also you can argue that it has been like the history of Ferrari to put out a car that is banging fast at the beginning races, and they are losing the developmental race all the time. And the Sebastian Vettel years, where they have been fighting Hamilton, like in the first half of the season, Ferrari has been like banging in wins, and after that, their season has been going off because the continuous development from Mercedes was better than theirs. So you can argue both sides by Ferrari. I think this may just be they have already brought in their major upgrades. Maybe they have something in the pipeline for the next races, and that may like change the trajectory of all the teams a little bit. Maybe again, or they just shot all their ammunition already. But we will see.
This is sort of the curse of being Ferrari, right? Because they have this mentality where, they have to be at the forefront of engineering development. So they want to come out, we have the best car. Yeah, I mean, recently it's been toss up between Merc and Red Bull, but they still want to come out of the gates flying, right? Because they don't want to copy. Now, yes, everyone does copy, and we've seen, again, everyone copy off the Red Bull, but they don't want to be like, let's say, Alpine, Haas, and any of the bottom five were like, okay, I'm going to just wait out, and then I'm just going to copy whoever's best. Ferrari doesn't want to, even to their detriment, they don't want to be seen as that.
And
team.
by the way, the same with Mercedes, because Mercedes was too egotistical in that sense, and for example, they stuck way too long with the concept that they saw as developing nowhere, because they didn't want to copy Red Bull or the Ferrari side pod when they had the bathtub side pods, for example. And Mercedes wanted to stick to the zero pod and try to get the best out of that, because their wind tunnel numbers showed that concept has to be quicker than the other ones, because in theory it should have less drag, but with the floor they had, even more downforce, but the numbers didn't correlate. So they completely ditched that concept by now. But yeah, the question is, do you want to be the clever team that that copies like some stuff of the other teams, or if you're to fire up your own ass, basically, or
do you want to be the team that pays
copy some homework?
Or do you want to be the team that pays Adrian Newey $100 million just to just to insert the cheat code?
Ferrari being run the same way Juve is being run, you would expect some cheese there. A little bit of a collaborating cheese in regards.
Apparently, he was at Aston Martin this past week, so rumors continue.
Yep. And also, by the way, I think everybody's a little bit like overplaying all the Adrian Newey stuff, because it hasn't been him constructing the car for a while now. Like, of course, he's still designing it, but the other engineers and their right now aerodynamics leader, Pierre Vacher, he's the guy, he's the brain behind the cars since about the 2022 season, basically. And it's the whole engineering team. I think like everybody's should maybe pump the brakes a little bit on Adrian Newey.
Sure, but if you have a chance to get him,
no, of course you get him, but he won't change like everything.
No, he's not the second coming of Christ or anything like that. But maybe for the new regulations,
not Federico Chiesa. Had to get it in here.
All right, keep the Juve talk out of this. You're going to confuse the guests here. This is the those were Elkin's other boys.
Elkin's ugly stepchild.
Okay, so that was, I mean, the race in a nutshell. I mean, we can spend 2 hours going through every little pass here, but I think overall, I want to get a general feel from it. Personally, it was a great technical race, good strategy going on,
It's
a
entertaining.
couple nice passes, but I don't know. It lacked a certain bit of flair, jeopardy.
Well, yeah,
couple of-
because you came from Canada when it was this monsoon, and you go to this like
Is that what it is? Am I just spoiled from Canada?
100%. Yeah, you had you had Magnussen look like he's like the best racer for like 2-3 laps because he was running wets.
This is true. Okay, so maybe I am
And-
a little bit spoiled.
And
Yeah,
by the way, I haven't looked into the FIA report because Magnussen got the 5-second penalty for the false
Yes.
start. Did he get any penalty points? I haven't looked into the
know-
official
No.
FIA
You know what I've
document.
realized? I
No, I
realized
don't
the
think so.
false. I've realized the false start is like the offside because it's just
Yeah.
like, you look at some guys and they're creeping, and I'm just kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio, like, hey, that's a false, and then no penalty, and I'm like, what? Because like
Yeah.
you could see a guy move like a quarter inch off the line and get one, and then you'll see a guy move 2 feet and not get one, and it's just
Yeah.
like
That's been a theme this year too. So there are sensors. Each track is different. I mean, the marshals at each track, they're never 100%
Yep.
the same people running things. It begs some questions. You know, what's really going on in that starting grid?
I think nobody knows what the false start rule is, because sometimes if the car like jumps forward and the driver brakes and then gets started at the green light again, sometimes they don't penalize it. And I believe Raikkonen did it a couple of times. He didn't get penalized. And last season, my stats don't go that deep. I forgot who it was last season, but last season someone got penalized for exactly the same reason. So I don't know.
yeah, because 3 seconds, man, 2 to 3 second penalty is huge.
Well, 5 is your minimum penalty.
Yep.
And they've actually gone harsher. Funny enough, it was Alonso that kind of rallied for the harsher penalties for, basically running guys off the track, causing damage, just unsportsmanlike type racing, and like passing, going off the track to pass was the big one, right? So now they've changed those penalties to 10 seconds, and Alonso, like the first 3 races, just picked up 10-second penalties. So
Yep, it was his own rule, though. Hey,
It sounds like he has pent up frustration towards Max.
maybe.
Oh no! He's friends with Max, man. He
they're
absolutely
all friends,
despises
but they're also-
Hamilton. He absolutely despises Hamilton, though.
I don't blame them. But I think the thing is, like, a lot of them are friends. Some
Well, I mean-
a lot more so
I
than
mean, the
others. But they all
phrase-
hate each other.
The phrase "hammer time" probably like triggers PTSD in Alonso's head, so it's just like
You have Hammer Time and Jesus Russell. He must love the Merc guys.
Hey, Dash, just because the 2-time Formula One world champion Fernando Alonso got shown up by a rookie in the McLaren with Hamilton in 2007.
Oh man, you'd see the clips and you just see the guy on the radio just like, "All right, Lewis, hammer time."
Boy, I hate it. It bothers me, but doesn't matter because he's not doing that well this year. He's sitting in 8th overall.
No, he's gonna be your next lead chair next year. So
You know how I'm not excited about this, but
watch him win your guys'.
I'm
first
still
game.
excited, man. If you put him in a good car and you give him some confidence, I think he will still do great.
the car looked good today. That being said, here are the driver standings right now. So Max just sitting out there, really extending that lead, because just like in the race, he gets ahead in that clean air. He kind of pulls away as everyone else battles behind him. We're seeing the battle coming in behind him now. Lando Norris now taking second place from Charles Leclerc, 150 points to Charles's 148. So that's nice and tight. Second, third place. Then the other Ferrari driver, Carlos Sainz, at 4th. Perez somehow in 5th still.
Not for longer. Not for longer.
I was gonna say, it's interesting. He's like the racer that's not good that surprisingly does good.
Yeah, well, he's inconsistent. He has a couple really good races.
Like that's the one thing I've noticed about Perez is like, because like the general consensus is everyone's like, yeah, there's only one good driver in Red Bull, and I'm like the guy's still 5th.
So the thing is now is because everyone has tightened up so much.
Now he's costing the team.
Well, he's just in the mix.
Yep.
Just like how Ferrari's now just in the mix. So is Perez. Like, and that's the big question: is the Red Bull really that quick? Is he being held back? Is this like a Mercedes situation where they're sabotaging the car? I don't know if it's that crazy. It's you know,
Hey, you've played
I
way
don't think
too much
anybody's doing that.
F23. You've played F1 23 way too many times. You've been playing that.
I'm playing 24 now, buddy.
I know, I get that, but I'm saying the storyline in 23 was about that.
Oh, that's the storyline every time. It's always the same story. Yeah.
Look,
But-
the problem with Perez for me is like right now he's costing the team because McLaren will get points consistently. Like even if Piastri like this was an off race, but in the other races Piastri was still like he also got podiums and P4s, P5s at least. Like this was an off race, yeah. But Perez for the last 3 races, like for 2 of them, he was already out in Q1, so he couldn't help like with anything. In Canada, he had a crash again immediately in the first corner, and in this one also, like he qualified on P9.
No, that's Monaco.
Like that ain't good, brother. And the thing with he just got his 2-year contract extension. And Helmut Marko told Sky Germany, I don't know if it came up on other news channels, or he said, yeah, but of course it is dependent on performance. We have performance clauses like written into the contract, of course. But yeah, if it continues like this, man.
Well, I mean, he did save Max in Canada because I mean, yeah, he totaled in Monaco, turn 2 or turn 3, where him and the Haas guys crashed into each other.
That's also like a month away. Like, yeah, that ain't a long time ago.
I know, but he did save Max in Canada. If it wasn't for him illegally driving the car back to get the safety car. Hey, that's why Perez is still being signed by Red Bull, because he might not be the best driver, but he still pulls some cheese.
And that's what a team needs, especially if you have a star, like a world-class star driver like Max. You need the guy he's just going to play the team game. Now,
but
part of the team game is not crashing and getting points on the board. But when he doesn't do that, he's playing the team game.
Yeah, but do you know what Valtteri Bottas, for example, did at Mercedes for 5 years, I believe? Got still consistent P2s. Consistent P2s, like never crashed. Always went into Q3.
And that's the big thing. Like Perez, how many second place finishes, especially last year? Again, it's because the field has tightened up so much. And Max is just that much of an alien that he's able to get that extra. It's like 6, 7 tenths, depending on the track. Like it's almost a full second clear of his teammate.
Yeah.
Well, again, what's going on there?
Well, it's because Max plays a lot of Forza. That's why he plays a lot of Forza at home.
Yeah.
He plays iRacing.
It's also a combination still of the car being set up for Max, of course, but also Max being a monster. But if you're Perez, you somehow you have to get on with that. That is the curse of being not the number 2 driver, because the car will be set up for your number 1 driver that is getting you the championship. Well, sorry, if they completely modeled the car to the liking of Perez, I don't believe that Perez will be winning a world championship.
Oh no, absolutely not. I don't think so.
This is what I think it is, and you see this with Ferrari too in this year's iteration. But these fast cars, the faster your car is, the more unstable it is. Your back end tends to be a lot more loose, and it's only the best drivers that can handle continuously for like 70 laps, however long it is, to keep the car on the edge all the time. And like you hear when Max is on the radio and he's complaining about things, like he complains about them, but he like still somehow finds speed with like a bird in his brake duct, for instance, right?
Yeah.
He is just that good, I think. So you look at the Ferraris now with Carlos and Charles being a lot closer this year. I mean, Carlos could have a few more points on the board too if Ollie Behrman didn't have to step in for appendicitis. Was that second, third week? But anyways, now that the Ferrari looks like it's a lot easier on the tires, it's a lot less on the edge. And now you see the 2 teammates basically being in 3-4 right now, right? It's a lot more even. I think that's where Perez is really falling off. He isn't part of that elite, that 0.0001%. He's part of that 0.0002%.
Just an average driver.
He's a
Maybe
good driver. He's probably above
No,
average.
he's a good driver. I'm not saying he's bad or anything. He's an above average driver, and he doesn't make any problems in the team and everything. And that's I think why he got the contract. Like he has proven in the past. Like he helped Max win the 2021 championship, for example. Like he has shown that he's a great teammate. But at some point, when the championship tightens up like this, you have to make the decision, which is why Mercedes went to Russell. They went away from Bottas for Russell, of course, because Russell is their golden boy for the future. Number one, they want to get him into the team, but also because Bottas was inconsistent in the 2021 season, and when Hamilton needed Bottas to be there to help him for the title, Bottas wasn't there. Bottas in the Abu Dhabi race, where Perez helped Verstappen, for example, Bottas was teetering around on P7 in that race. Like he was nowhere to be found, for example. Like he should be a car at the front that is helping as well. And I think Perez is falling now into that category as well. I don't know if I would have kept them like longer than the season. And they have lots of like promising young drivers in the academy right now.
Honestly, I think
with Liam Lawson, Isaac Hadjar in F2, I think they have a couple of very promising drivers in there.
They also can just transfer him over to Red Bull. I don't think Danny Rick is staying there.
No,
honestly, if I was to
Rick is
guess,
not staying there.
If I was to guess, Perez is taking Danny Rick's spot next year, or the year after, at the very least.
Oh, I think instead of putting Perez into the AlphaTauri, they will put a young driver in again. The rumors are that Tsunoda will be leaving for 2026 to Aston Martin because Honda will go to Aston Martin, and Tsunoda's a Honda young driver. So that means that AlphaTauri will VCarb will have 2 open spots by that time, because I don't think that Danny Rick will, just like you said, will be for longer there. And I don't think that Perez will take the place of a young driver on their developmental team as well.
I kind of have a feeling that that's what they would do, is get somebody young with a team player guy like Perez, who's still going to get paid. There has to be the agreement. He's going to know he's mid-30s. He's not aging as well as Alonso or Hamilton, who are going to be driving in their. Well, Hamilton's about to turn 40, right? He's like, I get it. When you hit your mid-30s, there is a drop off, and it's only those few elite people that can continue into their 40s and sometimes 50s, like mid-30s. He's reached his prime. So now that he's dropping off, I think that's completely reasonable that he goes to VCarb or whatever they're going to be called next year. And then they take in Liam Lawson, let's say, and then you have that old and the new. And you don't want the old guy, like, if we're talking about the storyline in the F1 games there, you don't want like the old guy that's not willing to let go, and he still thinks he has it, even though everyone knows. No, you want the old guy that knows he doesn't have it anymore, is going to take that step back to help the new guy come. So, I mean, those are my feelings. Not to say that that's the gospel or that's going to be the truth.
You're just going to be petty about it.
No, man, that's just my feelings right now on that one.
It's funny. I just got a notification. Pulisic apparently hit like a 45-yard strike in the Copa.
Oh,
wow. USA.
Simping on Americans.
Yep, and also like the 2 to 3 incidents that happened. What do you think about the Ferraris kissing each other there when they tried to overtake each other?
They're trying to. I don't know if you saw it, but Carlos was playing smooth operator and trying to screw Charles a little bit, take him out to dinner with that one.
But do you think that was just clean, hard racing, or was there some spite in it? Because like Carlos, the whole race, in my opinion, was pretty whiny, and also when Hamilton overtook him with, sorry, but the smallest, like it was just the. Just
there's the tire differential was
love tap.
Huge.
It was a love tap by Hamilton. I don't think there was any penalty worthy. It wasn't penalty worthy for me with how Hamilton passed him. And Carlos was the whole race, had the knife in between his teeth, man, and against Leclerc as well. And I'm just wondering if
he wanted to perform in his home race. I think that's a lot of what it is, especially with all the rumors. We were told that he was going to announce his next team that hasn't happened. Like it was supposed to happen this weekend. Nothing.
Yep.
I
And
think
the poor
there's a
guy-
lot of mental things going on there.
And the poor guy might be stuck with Williams, according to the reports.
He might, and now yes, Williams has a vision, a future.
Yep.
It's still coming from Ferrari though. There's a lot in his life right now that is not settled, and
How old
you can
is he?
definitely see that. He's
So Sainz is
20.
27, I believe.
Yeah, he's okay. I can look that up real quick.
I think 27, but I may.
Yeah, I would assume it'd have to be mental. Part of me thinks he's checked out.
I
Like,
don't think he's checked out. I think he might be trying too hard.
I think he's trying too hard because he wants to prove himself, like in hopes of getting an offer from a bigger team.
And he's
Maybe
29. He's 29, so he's looking.
29 already. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be looking for potentially his last really
big contract. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not getting it. Like if he's going into his 30s to an Audi or a Williams, I'm sorry, but you're basically like Bottas now. You know, like you great driver, had a great. You suck. Sorry, dude.
I think it's a shame for him, but yeah, I think he played his cards wrong, I believe, because he didn't decide early enough. Like most of the teams already made their decisions, and he waited and waited, which I kind of understand. But yeah, all of the cockpits now are filled, and he may be stuck with a midfield team or right now a team that is fighting at the end of the field.
It's clear he's been with Ferrari too long. He's been with Ferrari too long because he waits too long to make a decision until it's too late and he loses.
Yep.
It's basically it, man. Sorry, dude. Like I like Carlos. I think he's a great driver. I like his attitude.
Oh, I like him too. Like he's one of my favorites. Like I like him a lot, but yeah,
just not working out for him this time around. He got his Ferrari seat. That's his pinnacle. Unfortunately, I think that's how his career is playing out. He's going to be the next Bottas.
I think what he tried was to get into the Red Bull, but with Perez extending that went away from him. I think that was the card he was trying to play, because Ferrari, of course, is leaving because Hamilton is joining. McLaren, like I'm not giving up on one of those drivers for Carlos Sainz, even though I like him, but I take the upside of Piastri and the drivers' championship potential of Norris. And Mercedes has a young and a generational talent with Kimi Antonelli right now in F2, and with George Russell. So they have their cockpits filled for, even if Antonelli doesn't join next year, he will join in 2 years. And that would have given Sainz maybe 1 year in a Mercedes that he's not sure how it will perform. And I don't know if you want to bet your future on the singular season in the Mercedes. And
no, that's rough too. He's looking for the long-term contract. Merc doesn't even want him because they're Toto missed out on Max. He's not missing out on Kimi, so there's an ego play there. And with Red Bull, I think it just comes down to money. It's like we're basically gonna get rid of this guy who's already comfortable with the team. We work well with him. He knows what's up. Same age bracket, same cost essentially. So why are we going to just make a lateral move with a new guy when we can just keep the dude that we already have?
Yep. And also with the merge, like Perez is, even though his driving doesn't show it, he's a huge upside to the team, like financially. He moves more merch and everything than Max Verstappen is, like in Mexico.
Yeah, he's one of the Mexican fans, are huge.
He's incredibly big, like,
Yeah, just the population of Mexico City alone. Let's see. What's the population of the Netherlands?
Well, that and then
30 million.
And also, Red Bull would then have to purchase the rights of Smooth Operator, because then they would get sued for copyright infringement every time Carlos plays it.
Okay,
so that was the deal breaker. That was the deal breaker in the contract. Carlos is like, no, this is not acceptable. Unfortunately, sorry, Carlos.
Hey, we won't get you with that singing, man.
Okay, so Mexico City is 9.2 million people alone.
It's like the population of the Netherlands.
Whereas the Netherlands, okay, so Mexico's population is 129 million.
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands is 17 and a half. So I guess when you just crunch the numbers of how many
Yeah.
potential fans just
Of
within
course.
the country.
Is that population like people actually living in Mexico or people passing through to go to the U.S.?
You know, that's an American issue, and I'll leave that one with you.
You have to sort that out. Choose your fighter, Biden or Trump.
I just work here.
Okay, so let's that's the individual standings anyways. That got interesting. Sorry?
Last questions for you two. Who are your winners and losers? Everybody choose one team or driver. Who was your winner? Who was your loser?
Okay.
Mercedes has to be the winner for me.
Yeah. Lewis. I think considering where Merck has been, and with Hamilton in particular being behind, yes, I understand he got thrown onto the softs opposed to those hards. Carlos and Russell both.
That's definitely what she said.
Pardon?
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Pardon? No, seriously, like
okay.
Hey man, you're like, yeah, he got thrown on that hard instead of the soft. I'm like, well, that's an opportunity, and I'm take it.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so me and Dash both say Merck, and I'm specifically gonna say Hamilton. Fuck you guys.
All right,
Dave.
then I will go with the curveball because Mercedes is the obvious one. I say the Alpines, man. Because their main upgrade for this race was weight reduction. They finally got to around the minimum weight limit of the car, and immediately it showed like some performance at least. They haven't done huge upgrades so far, but the biggest thing for them, because they were like by 10 kilograms, I believe, overweight at the start of the season. Yeah. They lost all the additional weight. Now they can play with the balance of the car a little bit, and that already helped them out to I believe both of them were in Q3 and both of them finished into the points. So
yeah, surprising weekend for him.
Was very good for me. And your losers. Who are your losers?
I would have to go with Ferrari.
On what ground? They didn't win, they didn't lose. They were just there. They were just okay. They had an okay weekend.
They were just there. You're a big three.
That doesn't make you a big loser. It just makes you okay.
Okay, but they're still a loser.
You're a fucking loser. Jesus. Okay, my biggest loser.
Wow. Jeez, Dave chose violence. I'm just saying they finished 5th and 6th.
I'm just
were they on cruise control the whole time, or they're just like,
they kind of were until Charles made the push at the end, and Carlos on his hards couldn't really do anything with it.
How long does it take Charles to make a push? 5 to 10 business laps or something? Like, what's the deal?
He was how many seconds back was he at that point? He had to make up at least 5 or 6 seconds over 9 laps, which is quite a bit. It was a lot. He had to make up a lot, and he brought it within 0.4. He needed one more lap. He was told to push a lap too soon. And I think the way Charles had been managing his tires this year, how the Ferraris have been managing their tires, that they could have probably made that push. But that's all hindsight.
I think they're too afraid to take risks.
Yeah, because they get flamed by people like you right now, Dash. That's why they don't dare to do anything.
No huevos.
For the people that just want to hate on Ferrari for the sake of hating on Ferrari, the big team, they just get shat on because they're too cool for you. That's all it is.
Because they make great sunglasses and cigarettes. That's why.
Yep. No, Ferrari were okay, man. They were not bad enough for me to be the loser. My loser was Visa Cash App, because they brought a huge freaking update. They changed the side pods, they changed the floor, they reshaped their front and rear wings and everything. And shortly said they don't understand the car. The team management said in interviews.
Yeah, and that's such an interesting team to suck to, isn't it? Like, out of all the teams to suck this bad, it's V-Carb?
Yeah. Dude, because they were good, they were like from the midfield teams, like, of course, behind the Aston Martin, because the Aston Martins are kind of for themselves in the midfield, or were at least. And the Visa Cash Apps were the leaders of the pack with the Visa Cash Apps, with the Williams, with the Haases, with the steak, kick steak, filet mignon team. And yeah, they were the best out of those guys. But man, to fight with Logan Sargent for P19 and 18, and that was bad, man.
It's bad,
It
yeah.
was-
So they finished Danny Rick 15th and Yuki in 19th.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with them. I mean, Valtteri in 16th, K-Mag 17th, Albon 18th. Sargent is always in 20th. Why do we even mention him? But like, you can even say Albon, right? The Williams in general were, yeah,
Visa
Just
Cash
not
App.
great.
That's so funny.
I hate them. I kick, yeah,
I
all these
hate them.
team names. It's getting ridiculous.
I
Now it's
mean-
HP Ferrari. Fuck me. Fuck my
That's
life.
why
Yeah,
you're in
no.
That's why their car
But
sucks.
at least it's HP Scuderia Ferrari and not a MasterCard paper.
Life
Formula
is
One.
priceless. Whatever Cash App. Formula
maybe,
One team.
maybe we should ask Elkin to switch from HP to like Lenovo or Asus or.
They have Lenovo as sponsor. Oh, sorry, they had them, of course,
They
before
had 'em.
HP, but
Yeah,
they
they
had
just swapped.
Lenovo as sponsor. They had a big ass sticker on the car.
I mean, Red Bull has Oracle, right? It's just because they have these computer systems. A tech company wants to slap a computer system name on some sort of tech gadget thing. That's all it is.
Oracle is a nice system, though.
Do you know what's crazy to me? Dude, Mercedes did a absolute G move with their sponsoring because they have AMD and Snapdragon as sponsors.
That's competing companies, actually. That is pretty impressive.
And it's great having both on their car, man. That's actually
That's
like,
a big balls move.
Yeah,
Nice,
man.
good for them.
And,
all right,
and
so
McLaren, and I don't think there's a sponsor like from any from any direction that like McLaren has every sticker on their car that theirs.
Yeah, speaking of McLaren being losers, I'm going to choose Oscar Piastri as the biggest disappointment today. His Q3 just basically screwed him. He gained a couple spots, sure, but and not to like rag on him in particular. Like he raced, he had a decent race. Qualifying Q3, he just track limits on his first go and then just ate the gravel on his second go. He couldn't post a time. It screwed him this weekend, and sometimes it's setting up your foundation for the race, and he just didn't do that, and as a result he paid. And McLaren as a result, and we'll see as we get into the constructors, Lando taking second from Charles, but now in the constructors, sorry, all my tabs. Here we go. Red Bull up top, 330, 60 ahead of Ferrari in second. McLaren, Mercedes. See, I hate these names. These McLaren, Mercedes, and then Mercedes. It's ridiculous because you have Haas, Ferrari as well. You just got to pay attention. McLaren, Mercedes at 237, and actual Mercedes at 151. So
there's Mercedes, there's actual Mercedes, there's my neighbor's Mercedes, and there's my brother's Mercedes.
Yeah, and then Aston Martin, everyone else, they're at 58, 28. Like it's a 4-horse race. It's turning into a 4-horse race as Ferrari tends to drop back a little bit now. McLaren definitely making strides, and it is Mercedes
back
and every weekend front runner now.
Yeah, I mean the only way that you would think logically to challenge for the constructor build is you would need your team to get P2 and 3 and hope that Perez continues to just fuck up and finish 10th or lower.
Yeah, that's the only hope, because Verstappen will be up there like every single race, even if
25, it's 25 points. It's 25 points a weekend.
Even if the car turns into shit, like Max will be there. He has a 69 points gap on Lando Norris right now. Like his championship, I still think is secured, because even if he wins every other race, like, or every third race or whatever, and Norris gets like 2 in a row, it's still like he's in a comfortable position. But the Constructors' Championship, they have to bet on Perez not being there, and right now it doesn't look like Perez is there. So it's
Max said that a couple weeks ago.
Right now. Yeah,
he says like this is a one race team, and he's not. It's harsh to say on the radio like that, but I mean it's true. And let's remember as well, Ferrari had that double DNF. That was the same race that we had.
Brother, that costed them dearly. Yeah.
Well, because Ferrari was 26 points off. Now it's 60, right? So we can see how quickly things can change. If Ferrari didn't have the double DNF, we probably would be talking that 20 to 30 point range right now, and it would be like, oh, this is pretty tight. And that also allowed McLaren, because they had some really good weekends. Now, 237, right? We're 43 points off there. So definitely a 3-horse race. Mercedes, I think, is going to show up. They're just going to show up. The biggest problem is they're going to take points, 2, 3, 4, taking points off each other. And I'm not even going to say Red Bull. I'm going to say Max Verstappen is just going to be like, okay, cool. I just got to come.
Essentially, you'd have to get more than 25 points a weekend with both drivers.
Right,
like that is just the bare minimum.
But you have to bet every single race that Max will get at least the 18 or 50. He won't win lots of races, but he will most likely get at least 18 points for P2 or 15 points for P3.
And then also you'd have to account for the fastest lap as well.
Yeah, so he gets a lot of those. Lando getting it today, though.
Those,
I would assume, like, for example, I would say, like, you would need to get at least 15 with both of your drivers just to keep pace with Max. But like, again, that's dependent on wherever Perez lands on, right? But like, I think comfortably to gain ground on the Red Bulls right now, whoever's challenging them has to at least hit 30 points a weekend. Like, you need to get 2 or 3 or 2 and 4. Like, you need.
How many points does P4 get? Is it 10? Is it
no?
12
P4 gets
10?
12.
12.
P5 gets 12.
So you have to imagine Mercedes scored 27 points on P3 and 4.
Yep.
While Max still scored 25. So you have to get at least in order to make that difference up, second and third constantly.
Well, you needed what was happening.
And for the driver championship, you have to finish in front of him, of course.
Basically, we had that happening before Ferrari screwed it up. You had Carlos sitting in like 2 3s, 3 4s every weekend, right? And then you have a fight, but
because, like, for example, this week Red Bull's got 29 because Perez got 4 points plus Verstappen 25, so
and also 100%. You're right about that. Even if Perez scores low points, it's still maybe. They will still get 30.
You have to hit 30. That's the only way that you're catching up is you have to hit. You have to at least get into 30.
Yeah, and that's why I say for the constructors championship, at least second and third every single race.
Or Max just his engine blows up, he gets a 10-point grid penalty, something like that. Right?
but also that's one race, and I'm not sure that the others won't blow up their engine for once.
Well, and that's the thing. Ferrari already had their DNFs. Anything.
And Max had one, I believe. Max had one, I believe.
Did he this year?
I don't remember which race it was, but I think he had engine problems at the start of the season. And
I don't think it was anything catastrophic. I would have cheered a lot more if it was. I don't know. Somebody let us know. Oh man, like especially last year with Merck like taking the second place spot from Ferrari with that bad call. I'm still bitter about last year, but I just wanted Hamilton's car to blow up every weekend. But I mean that's pretty petty of me. I understand. I just wanted Ferrari to get that coveted second place. That's where we're at. Okay, Dash, you wanted to make fun of the driver of the day? Is it just because of who it is or because he won it?
I couldn't believe that he got it.
Because he lost what was his. Is that why? Is that what we're getting at? Lando Norris gets driver of the day. I think that's.
Wouldn't you give it to Hamilton?
I did personally. Yes. Well, let's look here. We have Lando at 28.3, Max at 15.8, Lewis at 15.7, Carlos 7.6, George at 7.
And by the way, I was right. I was right. Max Verstappen didn't finish the Australian GP that Carlos Sainz won. He had the brake failure. Do you remember?
That's why.
Yeah. Max did have a DNF. Yeah.
That was the one. I knew it was somewhere. I saved it.
Anyways,
I mean, did he? Honestly, though, does Lando really deserve the driver of the day?
Does he? I guess that's the question. This is the people. The people have voted. We disagree.
And he's a fan favorite.
He is.
And he's a fan
He's British.
favorite.
He doesn't have a punchable. He doesn't have a punchable face.
Maybe
maybe
a little.
Has.
I mean, Max's face is more punchable.
By who is your vote for the most punchable?
Are we doing this? We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I think it's Max. Max or Lewis.
Oh no!
See, Lewis, I just want to rip the earrings out of his ears.
I have someone else.
Don't talk about like that.
Lance motherfucking Stroll.
Lance Stroll, he's actually there's what's his name? He's the guy with the mohawk on YouTube. if I just type in Mohawk here, let's do it.
Is it just me? But do I think like Lando and Charles Leclerc look like siblings?
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah,
this guy, rocket powered Mohawk.
Oh, that guy.
As you can see right here, this is why people hate you. It's a whole video on Lance Stroll. Definitely watch this one because it's hilarious.
Lance is so unlikable, man. Man. But let's not get into that whole
We'll do a poll one day of the most punchable face in F1.
Yeah.
And then somehow Chiesa ends up number 1 on that. Maybe someone wrote him in.
Oh boy. All right, guys. Well, I mean, this it was a fun race. It was really good. We have 3 back-to-back. We're going to, is it Austria or England next?
Austria and then England, I believe.
Austria first. Yeah, so it's the 3 European circuits back-to-back.
So do I put Lewis Hamilton as my winner for the English Grand Prix?
I say Lando.
Because I'm also going to put Max to win the Red Bull home circuit now in Austria.
Oh yeah,
he absolutely smashes that track.
It will be a home game for him.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it's my favorite track in the sim as well. I smash it as well.
I'm hoping the Netherlands get the updated version of Max's theme song when they play it this week.
And also, do the Dutch fans play rock paper scissors? Who of them has to go to the Euros and who of them has to go to their front race?
Oh, true enough.
Why not go to both?
This is kind of it's tricky trying to get everything in at once, isn't it?
Yeah.
Too many sports. Sail GP. I'm into the Sail GP now as well. Second last race after I saw it live in Halifax. I'm like, I'm a Sail GP guy now.
Oh, I tried to. I watched some highlights after you posted that short, but I didn't get into it yet. I watched the highlights and I watched the highlights.
The Daves are the men of culture.
It's one of those things. Yeah, we're of course because we're not dumb Yanks. That's basically.
I'm just waiting for you guys to start showing up with polos, like old school, like polos and khakis and loafers, and
Dash just wants to drive his Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I just want to drive my Ford Mustang. Just want to do some burnouts. Yell some America a little bit there. Even though them Mustangs, they can't handle a burnout without crashing into a wall. It's like wall burnout Mustang. It's like a match made in heaven.
So I know who you want us to look for. I'm just gonna get an image here. See if I have it just right. Yeah. I think this is it. All right. You basically want us to look like cardigan, scarf wearing John.
There it is.
There, that guy.
Now that man looks like a seaman.
I'm surprised he probably does own sailboats. I pretty much guarantee this guy has sailboats.
Oh, he has a garage full of them. I don't know if you call what do you call it in English? Not a garage, man. Where do you store boats?
Marina.
Yeah.
Ferrari takes to the water with Soldini for new sailing venture. Yeah, it's got to be a thing. The wharf to Marina. Yeah, you got a Marina.
By the way, I know Dash trashed Ferrari a little bit, but man, respect to them for winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
They won the Le Mans
2 consecutive seasons after not being there for over a decade or for 2 decades in the LMP1 category.
What car did they put in there?
It's the 499.
No, it is a hyper.
The hypers.
Yeah, there's a number. I'm forgetting.
It's the hypercar category. I always forget it. 499p or whatever something.
Yeah, I think 499p. Yeah, that's the one.
Dude, again, off my brain. Crazy.
Yeah.
No, and that car won. Dude, Toyota was winning it. I believe 5 years on the bounce.
Yeah, Toyota was killing it.
Oh yeah, it's Toyota.
And then Ferrari came in, won it in the first season. Toyota had the excuse with, but we had ballast on board because we won it that many times because they do the, what is it called? The artificial slowing the cars down. And now
sandbagging
they don't have,
is what it was.
Sandbagging, thank you.
Yes, which Ferrari was accused of heavily this time around.
And now they didn't have that excuse, the Toyotas, and Ferrari still won it, man.
Yeah, they still did it. I saw articles saying that Ferrari was
Yeah,
sandbagging,
but I think the more impressive feat is just the 911s always just do an amazing thing. And
Dude, the 911
GT3s.
is my like as a sporting car, my all-time
yeah, because
favorite,
it's
man.
German. Here we go, the German
Well,
bias.
there's that, and then the M4. I'm a huge fan of the M3.
I
The
like how they look.
46, but
Beavers look really nice. I'll give them that.
you know, though, that kind of interesting. You know, that surprises me the most is the Mustangs actually did decent in the GT3. They finished 3rd and 4th.
They already did a good in the 2023 Le Mans race. That was their first race, because that was, I believe, the first race that that the Mustang drove, or something like that. And it had a really good showing, but broke down right before the end, I believe. And this year they followed it up, man.
Yeah. Ford is not doing too shabby. Ford's always had like Ford as a company always treated Le Mans as like something like sacred to them.
They've cared about motor racing more so than maybe some other American companies.
Yeah, well, that new Mustang engine, that's probably what they put in there too.
And also, can we please sell the Alpine Formula One team to Andretti?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
please?
Andretti to Formula One.
I
think you need like a full out and out American in there just to shake things up, not like a Gene Haas or anything. We need a Mario Andretti to go there with Cadillac.
Because honestly, I think he would have at least like some ambition with that team.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are talks. Now there are talks of them wanting to sell their engine department, because their engines are shit and they are behind on the 2026 engine development.
Their engines have always been behind.
And, and there are talks of them giving it up because the costs that or the money they have to spend in order to make that gap up, like it's not
go buy somebody else's engine
for them.
You can't make your own. Buy somebody else's.
There are talks that they will go to Mercedes, maybe sell their engine department. Yeah, dude, sell everything to Andretti.
Well, look at McLaren. McLaren is purchasing their engines off Mercedes, and they're doing better, a fair bit better than them this season. So,
and the Mercedes engines have constantly been good. They're
just good all rounders,
and they don't break down, man.
Yeah,
they're bulletproof.
They're not the fastest, but they're probably the most reliable.
100%.
You know, the one thing that always just like interested me, like with some of these Le Mans races, is just how they're able to fit so many cars on some of these tracks.
Because it's a 14-kilometer track, I believe, the Le Mans track.
Yeah, it's insane. Sure, I mean, like they get rubbed out sometimes and crashes happen. That's part of it. That's racing.
Yeah, it's that to me, I've always had like a thing, like a special place in my heart for the GT3 racing more than the hypercar.
Well, even like NASCAR and Indy, the amount of cars they put on those small oval tracks. I mean, that's why when somebody crashes, it's pandemonium. That's why all those rednecks start throwing their beers around when somebody spins out.
Oh man, let's go racing!
And by the way, how crazy is it that the Formula One cars, if you put a rectangular around the outlines of the Formula One car, it's bigger than the Le Mans hypercars. It's incredible, man.
Yeah. It's the batteries though, right? That's what's weighing us down, making us fat.
Yeah. And that's also what I don't understand, why they keep wanting to keep the hybrid engine instead of going fully blown into.
It's political, man. You know.
Yeah, 100%. It's political, but no one believes them that it's we want to be road relevant and we want to push those technologies. Dude, not a singular technology of an F1 car has ever trickled down towards road cars.
It's about the investments, right? Getting people to buy into it.
Yeah, and that's how they got Audi, because Audi thinks, hey, hybrid engines,
because they've been producing it for so long.
Forefront right now. Let's go into it. But I think for Formula One, because if you ditch the whole hybrid thing, the cars get lighter. You can again play with. They can get a little smaller, a little lighter. The racing will get better. Yeah, man.
Domenicali kind of hinted at it though.
But for 2030 now, I believe.
Yes, well, because you can't just change the regulations of 26 now, just like that. Like the cars, the engines have been in development for a couple years. It just won't happen. So yeah, it sucks. 20. We're talking about 6 more years, perhaps.
And
but
also the 2026 regulations are in danger of getting postponed to 2027 because they had to get ratified at the end of June right now. That was the deadline for the 2026 rule, and the teams haven't yet came to a conclusion on agreeing on the FIA rule set that they presented with the whole presentation they did. And there are still agreements on if the regulations will work out that way. So if they don't find an agreement by the end of June, then the 2026 rules may be postponed. But it's also maybe not to the detriment because the field is closing up right now.
Well, that's it's a week away. We'll see. Just like the supposed contract situation on the footballing side, it's gonna maybe be an interesting week next weekend.
And also the same happened, by the way, in 2021 because the current rule set was supposed to start at 2021, and they postponed it to 2022, and 2021 turned out into the most incredible Formula One season ever.
Yeah. Well, I guess buckle up because next year, 2027, even could be a lot more exciting. I'm liking it. It's trending overall. Everything's trending in the right direction, and it is because we are a few years into the regulations now.
Just ditch Monaco. Just ditch Monaco at this point.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion, isn't it? All right, guys, that was the Spanish GP. Good, exciting weekend. That's 2 Spain interactions I had to deal with this week. The other one with Team Italy in the Euros. So great.
Was that an interaction or was that a slaughter?
I'll call it an interaction.
I'll take the pause as a yes.
It was an interaction, all right. Anything closing off here for this beautiful race weekend? And
I'm good. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for close racing. Even though the championship, I still believe Max will win it because he has to be so inconsistent in order to lose this one, and I don't think he will be.
No.
So, but still, the close racing, the close racing, you don't know 100% who will win every single race weekend. But that's already exciting to me. I love it, man.
Yeah. We're here for it.
It's not going to be max by 20 seconds like last year.
Oh, thank God. It was max by 2 seconds. Like, he hasn't won by more than a handful of seconds. And, well, whenever he's won now. So, yeah. I mean,
in Canada, it was, I believe, 0.4 of a second. He finished before Norris. So,
yeah, it's getting crazy.
I love it, man. Keep it going.
It's good, especially from the McLaren perspective, the fanboy over there. I'm just going to continue crying myself to sleep. It's part of it, guys.
It's part of F1. Yeah.
And on a final note, go Oilers. It is the Stanley Cup Game 7 of the playoffs tomorrow night.
Will Canada win their first Stanley Cup in like 40 years?
Not since 94. 30 years, thanks. But yeah, since Montreal Canadiens in 1994. So there's a little bit of hockey talk.
Just don't burn your city down. Just don't burn your city down.
Maybe it's a good omen.
Maybe, might be. Who knows? But I would.
They do have the one good German player on Edmonton. The one singular German player.
Is it
good?
Draisaitl or what is it?
Yes. Yeah, Leon. Mr. Leon Draisaitl.
I only know him by his name, but I have no idea where he is playing. I just guessed it because you said German hockey player.
Okay, well, maybe I'll force you to watch. We'll put it in the Discord. Make you watch it all. It's a late one, though, so who knows? That being said, I guess we need to do some of that housekeeping. So before we sign off for good, I'm going to put up the barcode that you can scan. Links also in the description. But there's the barcode scan that gets you into the Discord so we can continue to laugh and play and make fun of all the things that we love to troll and just have good conversation. That's also where we do some of our giveaways. Speaking of which, KB did choose his jersey for getting the most correct predictions this event this season. So I'll be shipping out with that jersey to him this coming week. So congratulations, KB. Otherwise, socials at DoubleSports for Twitter and at danddsportshow. It's under our names, both Dave's. Look under our names. And in the description, hit that up for the socials. And yeah, I think that's the housekeeping. Like and subscribe. Do all that great shit.
Maybe we will open a TikTok channel and put that under Dash name.
Yeah, none of us want to deal with TikTok apparently, because screw it, we don't trust the people. Those
might be illegal in the United States.
It might be pretty soon. Yeah, It's already illegal off any government device in Canada and a few other countries. For
I
that matter,
can't.
so.
I can't have it on my computer.
I think
Or
it
my
is
phone.
in the UK. I believe it's also.
Nice. Screw TikTok.
I know.
So don't follow us on TikTok. We don't exist there. But Instagram, Twitter, we wish we didn't exist there either. But we have to. Just go to the Discord. It's fun there. It's fun there, guys. That's where we want to see you. But follow us everywhere because we need it. We're desperate for it. We need people to like us, or we do not live a fulfilling lifestyle. And we go to our girlfriends and wives afterwards and cry that nobody likes us. And then they tell us that they don't like us either. It's just cheaper to us.
They tell us, man up, man.
Okay, I got a little depressing there. I'm just kidding, of course, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us. And man, we got to go again next week and 3 back-to-back. It's going to be a fun one. So thanks for joining in, Dash. Thank you, Dave. Everyone else, signing off, and we will see you for the F1 stuff, anyways, next weekend. Take care, everyone. And Forza Ferrari.